Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into Majin TV for this edition of Meta Melee. This is the inaugural edition, and we're located here at Legends Comics and Games in Fresno, California. Joining me today is a very prominent player, a very positive influence in the Dragon Ball Super community, Markus Kantarci. He constantly tops at our locals tournaments, Octagon tournaments, and he even topped 32 at the Las Vegas regional tournament. And for those of you who do not know, he also is the person who runs and founded the Shenron's Lair website. I'll leave a link in the description. It features deck profiles, reports, just lists, well, not really, lists, and a few other things on his website about the card game, and it's growing really well, and you guys should check it out, and submit deck reports to him if you think you have a really good deck. So, without further ado, Markus, good to see you today.
Yep, good to see you too, Dakota.
So, like I said, you topped 32 at the Las Vegas Regionals. What was your experience there, getting there and just checking in and so on?
Well, it was the first regional that I was attending, and it was by far the biggest Dragon Ball Super tournament that I attended with, over 350 players. It was an extremely long day. We had to play 9 rounds, and it took about 14 hours to finish all the rounds. So we got there like around 8 a.m., and by the time I walked out of the doors, it was about, midnight, 1 a.m. So it was very tiring playing, but it was definitely a fun, enjoyable experience, that's for sure.
Awesome. Like I said, it's your first regionals. I'm going to be going to San Jose Regional up in April, I think it is. So that's something to look out for, which is nice to prepare for the time of day, not to make sure I get a lot of sleep.
Yes.
Make sure to have food with me, because were you guys able to get breaks during the time?
No, we did not get any breaks. It's just you play 1 hour, and then time gets called. As soon as they're done getting all the matches recorded, next round starts.
I've got to make sure I have plenty of PB&J.
Yeah, definitely. Bring lots of snacks. I did.
It's good to know. Were there any prominent players that you maybe recognized from online that you played there?
Yeah, there were. The PPG guys were there, so I played against them online. Eddie especially. It was nice meeting them in person and seeing them all do really well. So that was kind of a fun experience. Online they're known to talk, and they did walk the walk, so it was really cool. I met with Patrick Kowal, who's also a pretty good player online. Danny Hype was there. So yeah, I did get to see online faces, and it's kind of nice putting a face to people.
It's good. People see you a lot on the Facebook group. You partner with a lot of people for the December giveaways that you had every day throughout December up till Christmas. I think past Christmas even. Helping for people who are new to the community or people who just want to win cool stuff. So that was really nice. So people really got to know more of you.
Right.
And now they kind of get to hear you in person.
Yeah.
As far as Vegas goes, that's great. What were the most decks you kind of ran into?
I ran into a good variety. There was no one deck that I constantly played. For example, when I went to the Core TCG tournament in LA, when Set 2 just released, it was 8 rounds there, and I ran into 6 Vegetas. So that part sucked. But this time in Vegas, I ran into Vegeta, I ran into Androids, Cell, Bionic Frieza, Soul Striker Goku. It was a very even split. There was 9 rounds. I played against 2 Androids, 2 Vegetas, 2 Cell, 2 Bionic, and then 1 Golden Frieza, which was
the one that took second.
Donnie's deck. It destroyed me.
Wow, really?
Yes, he did. He killed me very fast.
I haven't even gotten to see the deck profile, the deck list of it yet, so I don't even know what's all in it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You kind of do know what to expect, but you just don't expect it to work so well, and somehow it did. I mean, like I said, when I played him, it was a very fast 2 games. He just got a lot of value from playing his cards with his leader. He would play with the combo Frieza that comes into play when you combo. He would pop it, get some energy back, draw a card, and he always had a massive hand, and he would play his threats. I would bloodlust his threats, and then he would play bad ring laser,
Yeah,
and it was pretty bad. I could go into more detail later if you like.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because set one, kind of Golden Frieza, was one of the more let down kind of decks. You know, everyone expected it to be really good, but then it ran into a lot of problems against like cards like well, mainly just blue decks, especially Vegeta, because without having ways to self-awaken, you kind of like find yourself in a lull because there weren't many threats within the deck outside of the 15k, you know, Mecha Frieza and like the 6-drop Frieza.
Right.
So like people could Senzu Bean or just, you know, kind of stall you out until they had their field ready, and then you have like Prince of Speed and like Furious, or you have, you know, Brawly and all these other big threats coming out faster. You know, it kind of was down, but that's where Bionic Frieza comes in. You know, it helps set up that board a lot faster and an almost insane amount of time. You know, your turn 2 is almost like a turn 5 for some people,
Right.
because of how much energy you have on field.
Right.
So, let's talk about Shenron's Lair for a moment, and then we'll get to your deck profile.
Okay.
So, you know, you run Shenron's Lair. You know, obviously, you know, I assume it was to help the community. What was your main focus when making it?
Yeah, so I felt like any game in general always has a main central site that people go to whether to get help, whether to discuss, you know, strategies, just kind of overall better yourself, right? I mean, every game has this site. For example, like League of Legends has Mobifier, right? You know, Overwatch has like their own forums. So every game kind of has this thing, and I wanted to build something for Dragon Ball that was of, you know, similar concept. People can go, they could look up deck lists, they could look up articles, just kind of go to a place and get better and improve themselves as a player. So yeah, that was kind of my goal of making something.
Some of the deck lists have always been really interesting. You know, you had I think you called it Bluegrass Gohan.
Yeah.
You had Brandon Villarreal. He put in his out of nowhere starter Goku deck. You know, before it became prominent again with the whole what was it, Majin Buu engine with Gohan. Oh my, the power of it. And then just a few other interesting ones, you know, back from set 1 with Champa and Vegeta. Just the kind of things to help get people along the way, which is really good. Are you planning on putting your deck that you took at regionals on there?
I should. It's one of those things where it's more of a...
You got to get to it.
Definitely, yeah, I gotta get to it. I did update the deck list section with the top 8 decks from the past 2 regionals. So if you go there, you see the top 8 decks for Orlando and Vegas. You have to pick the leaders first. So if you pick, you know, Bionic Frieza, you'll see the top decks for that. If you pick Soul Striker, you'll see the top decks for that. So I did update it to have some pretty strong decks on there.
And I believe you're running a promotion with Legends Comic Games themselves. What exactly was it again? I was kind of confused by the post.
So for set 3, the pre-orders are up from our local shop, Legends, and if you use the promo code Legendary Shenron, you will get $5 off your box orders, which will bring it down to $65 a box, which is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a really good deal for a lot of people. You know, it's really fortunate to have a local game store being able to give back to the community by having, you know, really low prices that, you know, makes it easy for a lot of people to get into the game, because, you know, one box isn't going to be able to suffice to get everything you need. Sometimes 3 won't be enough.
Right.
So being able to have a little bit lower prices, especially for pre-order, helps you get what you want. You know, it helps get the SRs that you want. If you want to be a guy who wants, you know, full playset of SPRs, you can get those. You can get the SCR, you know, because those are really tough to pull.
Yeah, definitely.
Really tough to pull. Yeah, so that one's really good. So I guess let's talk about your deck right now. I'll move the camera around.
So going into Vegas, I knew Bionic Frieza was going to be a very good deck to play. It's just very consistent, very good across the board against all sorts of matchups. So I knew that was the deck I wanted to play, because in set 1 I played Ginyu, and Blue-Yellow Ginyu was one of my favorite decks. So for this set, I went with Frieza. And the deck is tricolor, red, blue, yellow. And we'll start with the yellow cards. I played with 3 Destructive Occupation Frieza. It's a really good value card. You combo on the defense, and then on offense you could swing and they'll have to combo to prevent the damage. It's really good against aggro, where if they bring out a big field of guys and they swing with it, you combo, put them in play. On your turn, you swing into their aggro kabas, and if they do combo over to save their kaba, you're still getting value out of it from them wasting cards. It was just an overall really good value card.
Did you find better benefit running only 3 instead of a full play set of 4 to have more consistency with them? Or
Yeah, when I used to run 4, but 4 did feel pretty clunky because it's not the case where you have to use them all the time. And in the mirror match, it's really not that great because if your opponent awakens and you did not, and you combo with it to save yourself from taking the damage, then this guy comes into rest mode, and then they just could attack with their awakened leader into this.
Yeah.
So I didn't like playing it too much in the mirror. Then obviously the 4 Dodorias. It's
The
very
winner
simple.
stamps,
Yeah.
just to show how much of a winner he is.
And then we have 4 Cold Bloodlusts, which is the defining card of the deck.
The rogue card in the deck, I'd say.
It's just extremely good. It defines the meta, basically. Cold Bloodlust and Cell are what defines the meta, in my opinion. Being able to shut down any play is what gives it the strength of this deck when you play against all sorts of different decks. So it doesn't matter what kind of deck you run, if I shut off your main strength, your deck is kind of nulled. Crusher Ball, 2 Crusher Balls.
Too.
Yeah, at first I didn't run any, but I was really scared of the Vegeta and Blue-Red Trunks matchups. I was scared that they're going to play a lot of cards and I'm not going to be able to defend myself against it. So with Crusher Ball, it was slowly slowing them down. It's also an extra card. It helps me awaken faster, and since it puts their guys in rest mode, I could swing into it with my leader, draw a card, and not awaken them either. So I thought 2 was great. It's really good in the mirror match as well. Against all sorts of Friezas, it's really good because you could play Crusher Ball on their Kale, you could play Crusher Ball on their Sacred Guard Whis, Friezas, anything, and it's just another tool to help you awaken faster in the mirror match, which is key. Yeah. So those are my yellow cards. It's very standard. There is 13 cards. I usually just charge 1 yellow, preferably on my 3rd energy. Charging 1 yellow is good, or my 4th energy. I'm sorry, yeah, 4th energy.
When you charge yellow, do you have any preference as to which one you'd rather charge over the
I
other?
prefer to charge the Occupation Frieza or Crusher Ball. Those 2 are my charge targets. But there was a lot of games where I didn't charge any yellow, and that's totally fine too. Just taking a life for the Cold Bloodlust is not bad. Now going into the blue cards, I'll start with the battle cards with for Majin Buu. It's obviously a really good card. Although in this deck, I didn't know how good it is because your energy plays are really tight. When you have 4 energy, you want to play your 4 cost guy. When you have 5 energy, you want to play your 5 cost guy. So playing Buu was like only on the first turn, and then on that first turn, you usually want to charge Buu so you could play your objection. So Buu wasn't really that useful in testing. So for a split moment, I was main decking 4 Jokkos instead, because Jokkos have really good value late game, whereas Majin Buu is only good on the first turn. But as the tournament progressed, I really liked having Buu in my deck, and I realized that it's actually a really good card even late game. I didn't tap out as much as I thought I would, so I would play my 4 cost guys on 5 energy, always leave 1 up open, leave 1 energy open. So Buu was pretty good. And then the rest of the blue cards are extra cards. I have obviously with the Mecha Friezas 4 Monakas. It's just a tool to help you awaken faster. You have the potential to awaken on turn 1 or turn 2 really, where you always hard mulligan for these and objections. No matter what your hand is, even if you have a Buu, you always want to mulligan for Monaka, Objection, and Bloodlust. Those are the 3 cards you want. And yeah, Awakening turn 1 right away is obviously really good because once you swing with your Awakened Leader, you will draw a card and start gaining value. And that's what the game is all about, just having more value than your opponent. Usually on turn 1, if I played Monaka, I would never attack with the double strike. You don't want to give your opponent 2 cards. And then I would play with 4 objections. Opening up with charging Boo, playing Monaka, playing objection is always great. I mean, those games that I open up like that, most likely I won that game because it's just, you get such a big tempo boost. You're going to have 3 energy on your second turn. They're still going to have only 2. You're going to awaken quicker. It just gives you too much of a tempo swing in your favor. And then played 4 Senzu Beans. It's also really good with Frieza, although I don't like to use its effect too much with Frieza Leader's ability, unless it's in desperate times or I'm going for a game. But it is a very powerful combo to just be able to take a life, so you gain 1 card, and then play Senzu Bean and re-stand 2 energy.
Yeah,
which is
really
a really
good when
big
you have no energy.
Oh yeah, it's an extremely strong play. Then I also have 2-V's Coercions.
Ooh, only 2.
Yeah, and once again, in the beginning of the deck, I didn't have much defense. I didn't play with the Crusher Balls or the Coercions. I was kind of all out offense. But as I play tested against Trunks and Vegeta and androids especially too, it became clear that I really need some defense because those games were auto lose to me in testing. So Coercions come in really clutch against the late game Vegeta attacks. It's good against their late game Gotenks swings with the 25k double strike. It's a really good card to have late game. And now going into the red cards, which make this engine of the deck work, is 4 Ability Unleashed Gohans. I would say it's probably one of the best 3-cost cards in the game. It comes into play, 15k, and you could swing and draw a card. So the reason why this is really good is because you could be not awakened, and on your 3 energy, which is your turn 2, if you played objection, you could play him and start swinging to your opponent's leader, and you draw a card and you're starting to gain value. And if they're not awakened, they're only 10k, so they can't attack into this 15k. And if they do, you still have stuff like Crusher Ball, Coercion, Combo Frieza to protect your Gohan. So you protect your Gohan for a turn, and then next turn you either drop another one and start getting double swing values, or just keep drawing with them. And then I have 4 Jiren. It's an extremely strong card. It's not a guaranteed KO effect like KO or Teen Gohan or Beerus, but it's just as effective. A lot of times they'll play their KO, you swing into it once for 30k, they're not going to take that, they're not going to combo over that, so you basically remove it. So he kind of acts as a pseudo KO effect, and he could do 2 possibly in 1 turn. So there were a lot of games where on my opponent's turn they'll play Majin Buu, on their second turn they'll play Son Gohan, Curiosity Goku, Curiosity Goku, and then by their 2 turns I would have played Objection at 4 energy. I could just play Jiren, kill their Buu, kill their Goku, and now I'm just gaining value. So he's a really strong card. Sometimes it does get risky though, not being able to remove stuff. Like when they play Energy Power, Super Saiyan Gotenks, 25k power. If you swing into it, and they could just combo over with 1 card and protect it very easily. A lot of times, those good smart players, they would negate my first attack, and then on the second attack, they would just combo over with 1 card. So they only lost 2 cards, but they protected their threat, which then deals big damage to me on my turn. And another combo piece of the deck is 4 Awakening Evil Majin Buus. So I'm going to lay out the rest of the cards so you guys see why. And I have 3 Ultimate Combat Gohans and 4 Grand Evil Majin Buu.
Yeah, because they all work in unison together.
Right. So this card is really good because he brings out the Grand Evil Majin Buu. And every game it's situational what you put under him. Usually I would put a Ability Unleash Gohan, because now I get to bring out Grand Evil Majin Buu, who has dual attack, and he gets this Gohan's effect twice, which is draw a card. So I could draw twice in 1 turn and I could attack active battle cards. So they could have a full out board, and I would just keep attacking their board and keep drawing cards with the 30k attacker. So it's a basically very value-based deck where you draw a lot, you get rid of all their resources, and then eventually you're just gonna swing in for the game with all your double attackers. Putting Miraculous behind the Grand Evil Blue is also really good because you could swing into their low-cost floaters like their blues, and they can't combo. Yeah, they can't combo
to save
30k to save it twice. You know, it's a dual attack, so it's a very strong, very powerful deck. That's for sure.
And also with the ability to unleash Gohan with the blue. If you only want to say you need one card in hand, you can give the double strike for the first attack. So that way you have double strike for the second and draw again for the second.
Right, definitely.
So that way you have one draw and then a dual strike, double strike card, dual attack, double strike card. So that's really, really good.
Yes, there was a lot of games where I had to do that, where I would pick double strike first, and I would attack into their leaders at 4 life, and they have to protect against both attacks.
Yeah, and really good thing is if you have low hand size, ability to unleash Ultimate Gohan. If you have the Miraculous Comeback Gohan. If you have the Grand Evil Blue out with the ability to unleash Gohan under him, you can get the Miraculous Comeback Gohan out also, and then have an even bigger field and threat rather than just having a Miraculous Comeback Gohan underneath the Grand Evil Blue.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really interesting thing.
Yep.
Too bad you can't get off the. Too bad you can't evolve onto him. It's got to be a red Boo that you can evolve Awakening Boo.
Right. I know that would have been very nice. There's also, you could evolve onto Gohan with him. So
yeah, that's also an option. So that way, if you don't have the 5-drop Boo out, you can get him out some way rather than just trying to fish.
Right. All right. So let me go over my side deck really quick.
Yeah.
So with this deck, first of all, it's a very good deck against any other Bionic Frieza deck. Against the green, blue, yellow version, it's really good because they'll play their Kales, they'll play their Gotenks, and basically you just bloodlust those, right? And Jiren is good enough to take them out. And if they bloodlust your Jiren, it's okay because on your next turn, his effect is still there. Kale and Gotenks, or Gohan for that matter, are all one-time effects. So once you bloodlust it, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Kale has her draw, that's for sure.
And critical.
Yeah, but their biggest power comes from that put-in-play effect, which Bloodlust negates. But against this deck, Bloodlust doesn't really negate anything. They could negate the Gohan, but that's fine because next turn you're going to get the effect back.
Yeah.
The only thing they can negate is basically the evil Majin Buu, and that's when he comes into play. So you don't have to waste a card by using his Union Absorb yet. You could just play him. If they play Bloodlust, you do nothing. And then on your next turn, you could just put the Gohan under. If you put the Gohan under, and then you bring Grand Evil out, and they Bloodlust that, then that's also fine, because next turn you still have a double attack. So the deck is very good against Bloodlust.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, a lot of matchups I've ever had, I kind of fear Crusher Ball more than Cold Bloodlust, just because Cold Bloodlust, it stops the ETB effects, but a lot of cards, they don't have them. Whereas Crusher Ball, you drop your 7-drop Beerus, you drop your, your big cards, they go for game, but they become tapped, well then they're susceptible to cards like the Mecha Frieza that destroys 2 cards.
Right.
The cards that are tapped kind of are more susceptible than cards that are vanilla.
Right.
And that's where my fear comes in as a player. But people tend to fear Cold Bloodlust more, so they kind of tend to overlook Crusher Ball, which I think is a really good moment to catch someone with.
Yeah, Crusher Ball is definitely a really good card against this deck. It slows you down big time, that's for sure. But alright, so my side deck, let's see, where should I put the side deck? Okay. I have 2 Coercions. This is mainly for the Vegeta matchup, or maybe the Trunks matchup as well. Vegeta late game just gets really powerful. The leader attack, it's pretty much unstoppable, so you gotta negate that. I played 2 Mafubas, which also was really good against the mirror match and Vegeta. Mafuba came in clutch a lot of times for me because I would come across where I play a Jiren, they Bloodlust it, and then they'll play their KO and Teen Gohan back to back, and they would have like 2 cards to my 1 out, and when I played Mafuba, I was able to negate one of those guys for 2 turns, and I had basically 2 turns to deal with it with my dual attackers and stuff. It was a really good late game. I don't want to say I would use it
All
on
the
4
time.
energy, but it's more of really useful when both players are at 7 energy. They're on their final combos. You know, it's the last straw of like the game, and you just Mafuba their biggest threat, and now you save yourself 2 turns. And in a late game situation, 2 turns is extremely
Oh, very, very powerful.
Right.
Because the card can be stopped for 1 turn, and it can it can just come back the next turn.
Right.
Or a card has dual attack, well, you have to use 2 cards to counter it, but Mafuba stumps it
Exactly.
altogether. And also an interesting thing is the awakened side of Frieza, you know, it reduces it by 2, so you can play it off of 0 energy if
Right.
you want to save that energy for, you know, coercion or for anything else,
Right.
really. So that's a really, really good.
There was a match I played against a green Bionic Frieza that played with the Brawly engine, and it got to the point where they were able to bring a Super Saiyan Gotenks out and a 30k Big Boy Brawly out. And he swung with the Gotenks. I played Mafuba on it. He swung with the Brawly. I played Mafuba on that as well. So I Mafuba both his guys in 1 turn. And that gave me 2 turns to constantly attack his leader with my 30k double strikers. I mean dual attackers, and he just couldn't defend against it. So I won that way. So Mafuba is really good in late game situations. And then I played with 3 Jockos.
Really good for those late game.
I thought Jockos I would play against maybe cells and androids to Jocko their TN, and it was also really good against Vegeta to kind of mitigate the damage from their all-in combo. The Vegeta usually likes to kind of go all in on their final attack when they know they could win, because they get such value from their hand. They could combo their whole hand and, you know, push for game. But I was hoping that I could side in Jockos and save them for that very, very final push from Vegeta, but I never did. I didn't side in Jockos much at all, so maybe I would take it out. I don't know. I just never really found a use for it. And then I have 2 Father-Son Kamehamehas. I know it's a red, blue, yellow deck, and I have green cards, but with Frieza it's free to play. And this guy was really useful in many situations, actually. The main reason I put him in was against androids, because androids give me a really tough time, and they will play Chilling Terror on 2 energy. So I could play Father-Son Kamehameha to get rid of the Chilling Terror, get closer to Awakening and Awaken, so now I just got rid of their Chilling Terror play. It's also good against the Cell engine, obviously. Cell comes out, he's a 30k body. With Father-Son Kamehameha, you could just get rid of it. I also sided in against, once again, the Brawly package of Bionic Frieza, and they on their first turn they played Brawly, and then I just played Father-Son Kamehameha to get rid of their 1-cost Brawly, and it helped me awaken. Because the key, especially in the mirror match, is to awaken first. That is the key.
And I'd also say it's also good against the Markus comeback Gohans if your opponent draws cards after they get down below 4.
Right.
So that way, you know, it goes back up to 6 energy. It's really susceptible early game, and then also against the Union absorb cards, or just Union in general, where they get them out really cheap. You can get rid of those cards really fast, you know, once you have the opportunity.
Yeah, mainly for androids, it was very good. I played against 2 androids, and it did help. They would play TN by comboing 2, and just Father-Son it right away, so it was nice. Now I played 3 Son Goten. This was anti-Android 16 tech, because Android 16 really hurts this deck, and I was afraid that Android 16 was going to be very popular, and I did run into it twice, but luckily I was prepared for it, and I had the Gotens. So yeah, Goten is a really good card. It's also really good against the BCC Gohan. If they play it on 3 energy, you just kill it. There's a lot of situations it's good for. Also, I was afraid of, blue-red Trunks playing lots of Kabas and protecting it. So with the Goten, I could just get rid of the Kaba easily.
Yeah.
After that, I played 2 Ghost Attack Gotenks. That was there because some games, they just drag out really long. And you want to get cards that have really good value. Because eventually, all these guys kind of wither down. but against Stolly decks that, and especially decks that don't play Senzu so if they're playing like green-red, or if they weren't playing Senzu I would side in the Ghost Attack Gotenks. You just play it on 5 energy, get 3 15k guys, you keep swinging with them, and if they're trying to protect themselves, they're just constantly comboing cards and losing card advantage. So it was really good for those late games that drag out a lot. Not good against Bionic. And then just one Crusher Ball was my last card. Once again, to kind of help me for the Vegeta matchup. So for the Vegeta matchup, what I would usually do is I would side in a Crusher Ball. I would take out 2 Cold Bloodlusts. Add in the Coercions.
And take out one more card.
And then take out Monaka. That's kind of what I would do. Against any type of aggro deck, I would take out my Monakas. If they're going to awaken me by attacking me, then I don't need these cards. So I would take them out. And decks like Blue Red Trunks and Vegeta who give me trouble, you don't need to play Cold Bloodlust against them. They don't really have a big threat. They just have really good attackers. So there was lots of games where I sided out Cold Bloodlust, and I played in Coercions, Mafubas, and Gotens. So yeah, that's basically the deck.
Really interesting deck. I wasn't expecting a lot of this, actually. When I thought red, I was just thinking it was mainly going to be based around Jiren and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and maybe a couple other cards. Gohan probably, yeah, but I wasn't expecting Boo Engine. That's actually a really good aggro effect to be able to get them out fast and just pop off their bottom cards. I'm surprised I don't see Battering Laser sideboard or anything.
Yeah, I didn't want to play with Battering Lasers because I figured that I would only play Battering Laser if I played Cold Bloodlust and they Battering Laser, and then I will Battering Laser. I figured that would be like the only scenario that I wish I had Battering Laser. Because all these guys, when I played them out, if they Bloodlusted, I'm okay with that. I don't need to play Battering Laser on those. So that's why I didn't play Batterings at all.
I think it would be, though, at least in certain situations, a good matchup for if you have the Grand Evil Boo out with Gohan underneath. That way, if you attack into, say, a Boo or a Bulma that's only 5,000 or 1,000, and they try to Mafuba you, or they try to use Coercion, you can then be get it through, and then they have to then combo to survive, and wasting more and more cards and energy they do not have.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the deck profile. We'll get into a matchup in just a second, but that's a really interesting deck, and I'm not sure how mine will fare against it, if I'm being honest. This guy, we'll see how he does. That way, I'm just going to edit it out. Instead of having to stop and record, I'm just going to have one long video.
It was a long interview, man. Oh my god.
I need it.
Marcus talked a lot, dude.
I don't know. Let's talk about how I did a 3-hour video on just box opening a Pokemon. I even noticed
it is recording. 2 hours? I was I would have been pissed the whole time I got up.
I would have laughed.
I'd have been I just wasted Marcus's time.
I would have
I'm sorry. I would have just lied. Just had Potter dressed like you. Be like Potter, pretend to be Marcus. Build his deck.
Before I let you guys officially go into this, what the fuck happened to food?
I'll buy everyone food.
All right. I'm holding you to that.
For what?
Well, for one, I was gonna buy him food for doing this.
And then 2, we promised we'd go get food after the interview, not a match.
You could buy food next time. I gotta go after this.
Okay, yeah. We're only gonna do a best of one. Marcus is a busy man. He's got lives to live. Or one life to live.
Why is Awakening taking so long? I need more meat. One more XP gain.
Mulligan for 5.
I'll do 3.
He's a gourmet.
I
don't want to use those until +2.
That's the issue with this deck. If I don't have objection in hand, I have to hard mulligan, just like you. But
semi-long way, but quick way. When you don't have
play results of training.
Wait, no,
I only have 2 because that's all I have.
I would hard mulligan.
Did you get rid of my Digimon?
I never really hard mulligan for it. I just let it happen.
Only Digimon you
just like about. Just like everything else.
No, I already got rid of all those.
So what you do, you farm, you capture, and then you I don't know. All of them?
Set up party?
No,
I don't have any.
I just realized I set my life up first.
I don't have any medals aside from the specific ones for him.
Wow. Oh, whatever. This is a friendly game. Who cares?
Yeah.
So, bear with me here.
It might have hurt me more than
Quite
it helps
simple,
me.
but you might not get it. So, yeah, you
I gotta
guard
wait
him.
11 hours plus 24 hours because they come out babies. Unless I'm lucky and get the ones that's just
Charge?
24 hours.
Now
No!
continue.
I'm gonna activate
Continue with what I'm
Monaka.
trying to say.
Take a life.
So in the process
Draw
of that,
card.
you're also
It's happening.
getting the meat from the storage.
The bionic
So
freeze
now
is
you go
happening.
back to
Play
some of the
another
earlier
marker.
stages.
Cool.
Right?
Take a life.
Tricky
I have
part.
to wait for
Tricky
one,
part,
to
right?
1 hour and I
Now.
don't have to do any of
Then
that.
I'm gonna tap one.
It's
play
not the best
objection,
method, but it is also
Take a
less.
life.
It's time consuming, yes.
Draw a card.
If you're gonna complain, I'm gonna start using your
Charge that.
gourmet fruits.
Play another objection.
The first
I'm
turn.
not gonna
The
do that
first
until
turn.
it's first
And it's on video. Wow.
Then I'm going to awaken.
You can edit it out.
Draw one.
You know, how to do,
Two.
you know how to do sound. Right?
I'll figure it out.
Then I'm going to pass turn.
Wow, no attack? No, you don't want another card in hand? What
I
are
don't
you?
want to double strike you.
Well, I don't want to waste the meats nilly. After +2 and up, then okay.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and just like that, I played QI for as much points D had.
This is going to be an interesting matchup. I played against Nate's deck one day, and I almost 2-0'd him. Made a mistake game 2.
Like you do.
Yep, just like I made a misplay before I even played today, okay? Like, I put my life out first. Before drawing. Like, who does that? Okay, you guys can't see it, but they just raised their hands. Kinda gotta do
I only
this.
rolled my hand because I could.
I'll attack your leader.
No counters.
Combo for 10.
Don't know what I read my
So
hand
you're
for.
20.
Neither do I.
Yeah, for double strike.
Combo 1, 25.
Okay, pass turn.
Let's draw.
Actually, technically I was at 22, but it matters not.
I see, yeah. I would have been 25.
Yeah. It's only until I get to 5 energy that matters.
I'm going to swing to your leader.
No counter.
I'll draw a card.
Combo.
No combo. I'm going to tap one, play Monaka, draw a card. And now I'll pass turn.
Oh. Objection, you silly, silly girl. Or guy. Or thing. Which I had the last turn.
That's funny. You can't play QI again when you can because I have all the eyes.
Last turn.
Okay. Draw a card.
It's funny, my Bionic Frieza deck is widely different. I have 4 battery lasers.
5. Get Martian Blue.
That's a thing.
Go on under.
Also a thing.
Let's hope I have one.
I need to get to a charger for 7.
So I remember you said that there was an interview, or I guess a form they had you fill out
paper.
after you, for people who topped.
Yeah.
And you said, correct me if I'm wrong, that when they asked, what's your favorite thing about Dragon Ball Super, and they meant the card game, you said the baseball episode.
Yes. That was pretty funny.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that episode.
Uh-huh.
Filler is amazing in Super.
It is. It was pretty funny because when that happened, you know, I wrote the baseball episode, and I looked to my right, and it was Donnie who got second. And he's writing, he loves the community, he loves, you know, how everyone's so nice. And I looked to my left, and this guy's writing how, yeah, once again, the community is great, and friendly competition is awesome. And I'm just here with the baseball episode. So I had to ninja edit what I wrote down.
Come on. It had to be Kabi Vegeta.
I'm gonna activate Gohan's effect on the
Yep.
Buu, and I'm gonna swing to your Majin Buu.
No
So
counter?
your favorite
Auto,
episode
I'm gonna draw.
No combo, I
No
assume.
combo.
I mean, you don't want a combo, he's already 5,000. That's almost
Swing to your
9,000.
leader.
No counter, combo.
Auto draw. No combo.
Is it 1 or 2?
1. And then I will. I'll pass.
So your favorite episode's not Goku learning how to drive?
That one's pretty good too.
But that was Dragon Ball Z.
Don't care, I think it's like episode 110. Something.
Response?
Yeah. Let's see. I have 1 active.
I have 5 total.
No response. Oh, that's not good.
Well,
Dun, dun,
it's
dun.
been fun. It's been real.
Good thing I didn't bloodlust that.
attack your leader
No
for
counters.
17.
Spoiler
no
alert, has
combo.
Bloodlust in hand.
I kind of figured as much. Or maybe he doesn't. No combos for me.
Okay. I'm gonna take it.
Mute my phone.
Oh,
Oops. Yeah. I'm gonna take it.
Pass turn. This plays all around
I know,
today.
right? Drop it.
Counter decking against Bionic Frieza isn't really easy because half the time you're having to use Bionic Frieza itself or a really aggro red deck.
Activate Gohan's auto.
Yep.
Okay. Swing here.
No counter combo.
Auto draw. No combo. And then I'll swing to your leader.
No counter
Auto draw.
combos.
No combos. Okay. Then I'm gonna tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Jiren.
That's a thing.
And then I'm gonna swing with. I'm gonna swing with Jiren to your leader.
No counter.
No combos. 20k double strike.
Why the fuck did you give me your keys? But wait, that's mine.
Okay.
Yeah, any
And
more
I'll
papers?
swing with blue to your leader.
No counter combo.
I'm gonna draw with my auto. No combos. 30k single.
Okay. 30k. But I know you have it in hand. I'll take. Two. Yeah, I'll take the 2.
1, 1, 1.
Oh,
I
whoops.
said single because I
Sorry.
drew. Yeah.
Apologies. I thought you were doing double strike. Alright, that's it.
And it will be your turn.
So,
Hold on, catch up to Chris. And everything, really.
how should I play this? So, I'll play Surging Thermometer.
Okay.
Double strike. I have 7 energy, so I have dual attack.
Yes.
Attack your leader. Response.
How many cards are
So
there?
let's go Island.
10.
Yes, I'm gonna negate that attack.
Alright, quick draw card from the attack.
Yeah.
I'll attack your leader again.
Gonna negate that one too.
Interesting. Turn now.
I'll leave my phone. I'm in charge. We go anywhere.
Response.
Yes, I'm gonna play Popless.
Ooh. It's just happening all at once. I'll attack your Jiren.
No counters.
No combo.
Okay, I'm gonna combo 1.
Yep. Fast turn.
So,
This is gonna be a bad time.
Draw a card.
give me some of your charge.
Go ahead and activate Gohan's effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Swing to your leader.
Or any amount of cards. Doesn't have to be.
Let's see, because you decide after I choose combo.
Alright.
Counter, no counter.
So you say no counter?
No counter.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna combo 1,
Even better.
40.
I needed to.
combo 2,
50.
50,
You get that one.
and
I get that one. No,
Come
we're not
again.
gonna play.
60.
60.
That's it?
We're not
Yep.
gonna play.
Alright, so do these 3.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted.
Sad thing is I don't have like 10Ks in hand.
Yeah.
So I'm at 30,
Okay.
40, 50, 60, and you're at 60?
Yep.
65.
Okay. Yeah, how many cards in your hand?
3.
3 cards in your
Set
hand.
up.
Yeah.
Set up your leader.
30k. Swing again.
No counter.
Auto draw. And I'm going to
Yeah, tap. I think.
How do we do this?
14. Tap 1,
Like a fun play.
Not gonna waste your time. I couldn't draw anything.
Yep.
Wow. What did my 10K? Oh wow, look at that. There. There. Couldn't find it. And the last guy.
Let's keep it at 4. Yeah,
Alright,
sure.
Marcus. I'm not gonna waste your time no more.
This was a good game.
You say that.
Price 12.
It was not. Die.
It was good for me.
It's good for you. We see how it topped 32.
Yeah.
But not like Vanguard.
Yep, that's how the deck goes. It gets a lot of value with the draws. From,
Yeah.
The turn 1 awaken is really
So,
powerful.
yeah, that one. See, once again, if I open up with
That you're
the Monaka objection, then it's pretty much really good for me.
And admittedly, I feel like Mega Freeze may be too powerful because of how fast it can set up. But there are obviously it's only topped certain events, and it has other ones that top 32 events. So it you know, we'll see when more stuff comes out how it fares. But at the moment, yeah, it is a very powerful deck. And you can see why.
Yeah.
If half for yours, half for
You can
his.
get out of here. Good job today.
Yep, thank you very
Back
much.
on sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably after San Jose regionals. See how that goes.
So
We'll see. Hopefully, I could do good there too.
Would
And thank you guys for tuning in.
both each have 3, but
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome us.
Speak up. Speak up.
I know I did terrible.
It's alright.
I've never like done anything like this. Ever.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty-
I'm like in my head I'm like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's like that.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into Majin TV for this edition of Meta Melee. What Meta Melee is I will be featuring prominent Dragon Ball Super players in our community to get their perspective on the game, their experience, and their deck profiles, and just kind of see where they want the game to go from here and what they've enjoyed about it. With me today is a prominent player in the Dragon Ball Super community. He is one of the most positive influences. He's one of the best players. He's currently topping Octagon
Reset.
tournaments.
Thanks for ruining it.
It's good. It's good.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's just
What
fun.
it's like, 'cause I record too. So.
That's funny.
Prominent player in the Octagon community, in the Octagon Dragon Ball Super card game community.
I could do a cameo.
You can just reset. It's fine, man.
Nah.
We got time.
All right, fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You didn't know.
Yeah. Just give me a
Cameo from thegaming.com.
I might do the paper shit or something, and just record Potter or some shit. All right.
Alex, D, say hi.
This was the deck.
Potter, Guy Sensei, say hi.
Youth.
Hey guys, you want to know what D's nickname is?
please there.
I won't say it. Potter will say it.
Potter.
Token.
That's worse.
That's fine. Fine.
He told me not to say one of them, just saying.
This is better, lesser two. That one's way worse.
It's alright, D. We'll keep your real nickname secret because it's really just an in-joke at this point.
Good.
You became a meme.
Some could say it's even delicious.